Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a review video actually. I haven't done one of these in a little while. Today's video will be about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. Based on the 1988 horror comedy movie Killer Klowns from Outer Space, this game brings you a new take on horror ASIM. From the same developers IllFonic who brought us Friday the 13th and Predator Hunting Ground, comes a 7v3 asymmetrical horror. 7 humans versus 3 clowns. Before we jump into things, I just want to mention a quick disclaimer that everything that you're going to see in this video and my takes are going to be completely from a media build. Content creators were provided with codes courtesy of IllFonic, and it just so happened that my friend Jay was given many codes, and he was very kind enough to give me one to play as well. So I just want to give a really quick shout out to IllFonic for providing creators with codes, and a big shout out to my friend Jay for giving me a code as well, because I wouldn't have been able to do this review without it. And definitely go give him a follow if you haven't already on his YouTube and his Twitch channel. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. I'm sure the first question you probably have on your mind is, okay, this is a horror ASIM, so how is this different from DBD or any of the other ASIMs that we've had in the past? So I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room right now. This game does not play or feel anything like Dead by Daylight at all. If I was to compare it to any of the other choices that you have on the market, 100% would be Friday the 13th. Which, again, it makes sense because IllFonic also produced that same game as well. Another question you might have on your mind is this game gonna last? Is it gonna survive? You know, is it gonna be the next DBD killer? No, Timmy. This game is not gonna be a DBD killer. And I may have said this in my Texas Chainsaw review, but no game is gonna kill DBD except for DBD and or behavior themselves. But that's not to say and discredit this game or any other game as being a bad game. No, in fact, this game is fantastic. I've had so much fun over the last few hours of playing it. As of recording this right now, I'm currently sitting at over 18 hours so far. And seeing as IllFonic has experience in the game industry and they've learned from a lot of their mistakes, I truly believe that if they can do all the necessary steps, genuinely this game will survive. There's a very common mentality that no game can live alongside Dead by Daylight in the horror ASIM space, but honestly, I don't think that's true. Hopefully that squashes some worries that some players may have going into the game initially, or rather even deciding to buy the game in the first place. Anyways, enough comparing it to Dead by Daylight in any way. We're here for Klowns, so let's actually just jump into the whole meat of things.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
For the rest of this video, I'm gonna go over the good, the bad, and maybe just some suggestions or things I'd like to see, though I think a lot of those may be added in the day 1 patch that most of you will be playing. And to end things, I'll be rating this game on a 1 to 10 scale. So, starting off with the good. The first thing I gotta point out immediately is just how true this game sticks to the source material. From things like map design, character designs, abilities, clowntalities, which we will get into later, all paying respect to the original source material. As for the gameplay loop, it feels pretty fresh. Everything is randomized, be it from items that you're looking for, objective items, and the objectives themselves change locations every time you play. Now, of course, while the randomness may help with keeping things fresh, it does change your experience sometimes to be a negative one, but again, we will get back into that a little bit later. Now for abilities that, again, we touched on very briefly, being very close to home on the source material, fantastic. But what's really great about them is actually just how fun they are to actually use. Like, you have things ranging from the finger waggle lure that you've seen in the scenes of the movie if you have watched it before, put a little footage on screen for you. To the balloon dog that helps track down humans, the baby clown traps that work like little snares and alarm systems, my personal favorite, the invisible clown car, And finally, the pizza box. These 5 abilities come from the different clown types that are available to you in the game. When you load up the game for the first time, you will have access to 3 different clown types: the Ranger, the Tracker, and the Trapper. And as you play and level up more, you'll gain access to the Tank and Brawler type, which alongside with their ability unlocks also gives you a new cotton candy gun, ranging from shotgun-like pellets to charged laser shots to even grenade-type cotton candy shots, all of which give flexibility and freedom to the player to play exactly how they want to their style. And on the human side, there are 5 different archetypes: athletic, rebellious, heroic, resourceful, and tough. To simplify this in as few words as possible, depending on which type you pick, depends on what type of stats you have. To sum it up in as few words as possible, athletic, for example, would be fast and have more stamina, whereas a class like tough would have less stamina but a lot more damage. So just like on the clown side, it gives players more freedom to play exactly how they want. To continue on the trend of things that will suit the player, cosmetics. Oh baby, we got a lot for you. And you know what's better than just cosmetics? Free cosmetics. Not only does this game have a lot of different customization options to, again, make it your dream clown or your dream human, all of them can be completely earned through either level up or through progression, which progression in this case being quests and challenges. These challenges come to you in the form of little videotapes that you'll find in the main menu. They're all specifically tailored towards each class from each side of the game, and will feel very reminiscent to those of you who played Video Horror Society who had a similar videotape experience as well. This can include cosmetics for the character, such as like clothing items, eyeball color even ranging from hair to clowntalities, which we will jump into next. Clowntalities, simply put, are just executions that you can use on the humans once you've downed them. You can either choose to cocoon or to execute, but you have to be quick, because humans can get up within a short time, just like how clowns can recover from being downed as well. A special touch that I love the most about it is the clowntalities or animations of different kills that you saw throughout the original film. You start with 6 different clowntalities right from the beginning, and you can just only unlock more and more through the videotape progression. Moving things along to general gameplay, as I mentioned around my intro of the video that this game does give Friday the 13th vibes, it's true. If you have played Friday the 13th, then you'll be familiar with the format of this game, except one major difference. Like in F13, where you had just one Jason to deal with, this game has 3 clowns to deal with, and the focus on teamwork on both sides is crucial to victory. The general gameplay is really fun, especially when you get a good group of people going. It's just so silly but how things can get sometimes. And with the in-game VoIP, it's just even more hilarious at times when people are sitting there going from either role-playing to shit-talking other people, in a friendly banter way of course, to even just using it as general communication. It's good. The in-game voice quality is pretty crisp overall, however that does segue me into a little bit of the problems that I'm going to start getting into. Going off my earlier disclaimer about playing a media build, this is to tell you that anything bad that I am about to mention may not actually be present when the game is officially released to the public, as the day 1 patch will hopefully have fixed and addressed most of these issues. Now, while the voice communication is very important, but also a very fun part of the game, and it has been executed very well into the system, unfortunately, it does disconnect you a lot in the sense that you just aren't able to talk, like people can't hear you, or sometimes you can't hear others. And that can be a bit of a problem. It can be very frustrating, but it is very easily fixed. Sometimes it can be randomly fixed just by dying. Sometimes it can be fixed usually by just restarting your game. But again, I don't imagine that this is going to make it to live. At least I hope it doesn't. Other bugs that I've encountered throughout the time is times where the gun doesn't quite work properly, where people maybe fire one shot, then they're just stuck. My friend JJ had a broken arm with an animation, wasn't able to use the gun after that. There was other instances where people coming out of a cotton candy cocoon fell through the map or were just falling through the map while in the cocoon. And while a trip to Brazil does sound nice, I don't really think that's exactly how people really want to go there. There's also been a common bug where doing skill checks in the game when you're doing an objective, sometimes even if you hit those things perfect, it will still tell you that you failed and alert the clown, which again has been very unfortunate because sometimes escapes have been completely screwed over just because the game said no. Some of the challenges in the videotapes aren't quite unlocking properly for people, as well as loadouts are sometimes just completely locked for those who have already unlocked them. So just some progression things are also just a little glitch, but again, I'm for sure that those will be fixed on launch. The final bug that I managed to find was an infinite XP glitch, which thankfully has been patched, so progression will not be screwed over upon release time. But that's not so much a bad, but rather something that could have been potentially problematic to the longevity of people wanting to play and having to really not progress anywhere. So again, thankfully that's gone, and I know for sure it is fixed. Gameplay-wise, where I have some concerns. First off, just the balance between the sides. Usually it feels pretty even, but if I did have to say one thing, I do feel sometimes that when you have more experienced humans, typically the humans are going to be really good, and we might have to see within the first week of play just exactly how that impacts and maybe what side feels stronger or not. And if so, hopefully Ilphonic will address things and maybe buff clowns, or maybe if humans for some reason feel weak, buff humans. Whatever accordingly just needs to happen. My next concern involves the escapes. Now, the problem with that, and it's on both sides, is it is so hard to find where they are sometimes. And that comes back to the whole randomly generated part. So neither the humans nor the clowns know where anything is. Nothing is highlighted, and the only way that humans can necessarily find it through a tracking means is through a compass item, which also you need to go find randomly in the map as well. The same problem lies with the resurrection machine as well. A good idea that I heard mentioned about it would maybe make the last human be able to see the aura of where the machine is. That way it gives them some sort of chance instead of running around like a chicken with their head cut off, just trying to find the last hope of bringing humans back. I found myself both on the clowns and the human side typically feeling very lost at times. Like, for the first few hours of playing, I didn't really know where everything was, and even now, even after 18 hours, I still do feel lost at times. And with no particular way on the clown side of being able to find objectives, you just kinda have to learn the maps to know where you need to defend. So that's why I'm really hoping that there will be some sort of aura or more clear indication as to where things are, as I could see this being a reoccurring, frustrating issue for new players. Which segues us into the final major point that I was covering a little bit earlier. The randomness. Where is it a problem? Now, talking on the objectives, sometimes you have to find objective items to escape, or rather they're called escape items. This can be stuff like spark plugs, gas, keys for the bridge, anything like that, key cards for the bunker. The part that gets to be a little problematic, and it's more an easy, nice thing for the humans, but not so nice for the clowns gameplay wise. Sometimes these items with the randomness can just so happen to spawn right next to the actual objective that requires them. So it gets to the point where if someone was to spawn almost right next to the boat, and spark plug and gas were pretty much sitting right next to the boat, that person, unless the clowns immediately had beeline to the objective, that person and maybe up to 2 other players are just gone. Almost every escape can have up to 3 people escape per use, and I've played a handful of matches where this has happened countless times. So I'm not sure again if that is something that they're able to change, if they're able to maybe edit a proximity where things can't spawn right directly next to it. But again, that's also just down to the system of randomness and RNG. It might not be something that's very easily fixed if it hasn't already been fixed, but it has caused for some unfun games for clowns, particularly in the past. My final problem with the game, which I do believe will be changed upon release, is customization. Now, again, customization specifically in this case it's great, and I love the system. But I really want to be able to do it while we're in the lobby, to change things on the fly, whether I want to change my appearance, change my class on either. either side of the game. I just want to be able to do that and not have to leave the lobby. And keep in mind, again, that's just part of the media build. I'm sure it will be in the live servers. If not, I'm sure that Ilphonic will listen and incorporate it in eventually. Sum everything up. What would I rate this game on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm gonna give this game a 9. Honestly, most of my gripes are probably things that are already gonna be fixed by the time you're watching this video. And besides that, most of them are just bugs. Some of them are mechanical and are, major points of the game. But I don't think there's enough that is likely to make it to live that's really gonna be a problem that would lower my score any further. Within the days that I've had to play this game, I've been having an absolute blast with it, and I think you yourself will also, if you are also a big fan of horror asims, which, let's be honest, you probably are if you're even clicking on this video in the first place. And for those returning from games like Friday the 13th, this is going to be a very familiar system to you. For those who may be coming from Dead by Daylight, this will be a very different system for you. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a very open, welcome time, and it's a super, super fun time to play with your friends. Once again, to sum it up in the smallest amount of words possible, make your perfect clown, make your perfect human, grab some friends, and just have a fun time. Either, cocooning each other, clown-talitying each other, shooting or knifing, anything like that. Just go in and have fun. Because honestly, you're gonna have a blast. And thank you so much again to Ilphonic for the code. Thank you to Jay again for the code as well. Just thank you to everyone for watching. I really hope you guys check this game out and have just as much fun as I do. And if you're checking this video out on day 1, May 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be live with a subathon, playing Killer Klowns with my community as well as a few other games, but definitely a majority of Killer Klowns. It's going to be uncapped and it's going to be probably going for a lot of time during the week. So hey, if you got the time, twitch.tv/HonestPanda. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment below, check out the Twitch as I said, and that's it for me today. Until next time, take care and have a good one.